Welcome everybody to BeamNG.drive, and today we're going to be looking at the newly released Soliad Wendover, which is a BeamNG official vehicle to add to their already really rather extensive roster. And yeah, we've gone for the SE 3800 version, which I think is a more mid-spec kind of version of the car. And yeah, we're going to be reviewing it in some regards and putting it through its paces in others. And yeah, we're going to be firstly taking a look at it in the new walking mode, which means we can just walk around the vehicle and look at it properly. So yeah, this was made between 1987 and 1991. It has a 4-speed automatic gearbox, it has chrome alloy wheels, and yeah, it's front wheel drive like a lot of American cars from that period. And yeah, is quite luxurious in interior mode, as we'll take a look. Got digital dash, digital gauges and all that lot. And yeah, it's typical American 80s, you know, comfort inside. Yeah, not much in the way of, you know, natural materials. Plenty of man-made ones though, plastics and vinyl and all that lot. But yeah, nice and spacious as you can see in terms of the rear legroom. And yeah, we're going to be putting it through its paces in a series of tests. First of which is just going to be taking it around this grid map and seeing how much punishment it can generally take. And yeah, then we'll look at it in some other ways in terms of testing. So yeah, front wheel drive and a V6 engine means it does understeer a fair bit at times, which I guess is no real surprise. Woo, bouncy suspension, that's for sure. Yeah, front wheel drive does mean that it's, yeah, a lot of the punishment is taken by the front, so I wouldn't be surprised if the drivetrain ends in no time at all, because that's what front wheel drive cars are susceptible to, easily failing at the front. So yeah, let's see how it does the checkerboards. Reasonably well. This weighs 3,571 pounds, by the way, so it's quite a lot of weight to be trucking around in a front-wheel drive car. You know, it's not the only front-wheel drive American car that we have on this series. Obviously, on this game even, we also have the Legrand, which is, yeah, quite a tough vehicle as well, even though it is front-wheel drive. Ooh. Slightly clipped that ramp a little bit too wrong there, but we're not doing anything specific with this. We're just seeing the kind of punishment I can dish out on it and see what it can take. I think the steering's been tweaked a little bit, which I guess is no surprise given what I've done to it already. It's a lot of weight to come down on those wheels. Steering is pulling a little bit. Ooh, roly-poly, there goes the bumper. There goes the wing mirror. But we're fine. Certainly can take a beating, this car, which is good to see. There's nothing worse than a BeamNG vehicle that is easy to, you know, kill. Oh, there goes the radiator. Oh dear, that was a big whack on the front there. But it's fine, just looks like it's been in a destruction derby, that's all. Oh, better turn that engine off before we kill it with no oil. So yeah, you have to say, it's quite a tough car. Which hopefully will resonate in the other tests that I put it in. Because we're going to be doing a couple of crash tests in, you know, the crash test map, and then we'll also be going up against some cars as well. Oh, we've definitely tweaked the steering now. It's still going. I don't think we're going to be going much longer though, because we're pulling heavily to the right, and the piston rings have damaged. But the fact it's still moving even in this state is, yeah, mightily impressive, quite frankly. Even if it isn't moving in any particularly good state. Oh, there goes the rear wheel. I think that might have done it in. Nope. Yeah, I'm mighty impressed by how tough this is. I have not been kind with this whatsoever. Also, weirdly, has a rear opening bumper bonnet. So, yeah, the hinges are at the front rather than the back, which is pretty cool. Right, we're going to be getting towards our final 3 tests on this map. Because, yeah, this isn't going to be taking much more punishment, to be honest. Slowing down quite a lot. Still able to drag its way up this ramp despite having lacking a rear wheel. Yeah, there we go. That's just a quick see of this car. It's slowed down to the point now where it's not really going to do much more damage to itself. So yeah, let's reload it and let's get it onto the first of our tests, well, second of our tests even, which is a rollover ramp, or rollover sled even. Let's see what it can do. Now, there are many other variants of this car, but I went for this 3.8 version because I feel, like I said earlier, that this is going to be the more mid-spec version. I imagine, you know, the V8 would have been the more luxury option for a lot of people. So we've got explosive barrels and a cinder block test as well to going on with. That first rollover, that was pretty good. The roof has been damaged and the steering feels like it's gone a little bit, but you know, could have been a lot worse. We'll do it a few times just to see how much cumulative damage it can take, as we've already seen already on just prattling around with the rest of the map here. It's already been able to take a fair bit of damage. Yeah, I'm surprised by how well the roof is holding up, to be honest. Because these older cars typically don't have the best roof protection. Right, we'll try it one more, see if that does any further noticeable damage, and then we'll head for the explosive barrels at speed, which I think is the only real way to properly enjoy those. Going for more rolls this time. I imagine it's because of the roof damage that it took in the previous two is enabling it to roll as much as it has. Turned into a more cylindrical shape than the typical flat roof. Yeah, that's survived that fairly well. Obviously the front has come up like it did in the when I prattled around with the rest of this grid map, but yeah, that is, yeah, you'd survive that easily, especially if you had your seatbelt on. Oops, it is it, I came out of the car. Right, let's see what happens if we crash into some barrels. See if this new official mod can handle these explosive barrels. Yes, it can in terms of the actual game, but the car itself has, yeah, lost all front wheel drive. The engine has locked up, probably because it's not even in the car really anymore. Yeah, yeah, pretty much come out. The rest of the car though, in terms of passengers and driver and everything, looks like it came out fairly well. And get it on its wheels. Yeah, that came out reasonably well. The roof didn't collapse as much as it you perhaps expect given the height of the landing there, so yeah. Fairly impressive in terms of safety, but in terms of engineering, yeah, those wheels were completely shredded. So let's see what happens with a cinder block wall. Imagine this will deal with it well. Just over 70 miles an hour. Yeah, that's fine. Sure, it's taken some crucial damage. Radiator's gone, so it would eventually overheat. But the windscreen hasn't completely come into the cabin. The roof hasn't collapsed on itself or anything like that. Well, it wouldn't have. It would have shown that if I hadn't have accidentally reloaded it. But yeah, there we go. That's the grid map test. So now we're going to move on to the crash test hall and see just how effective this car is in terms of those kind of crash tests. So yeah, see you when we get there. Right, so we're here at the crash test hall, and yeah, we're going to try a small overlap crash test at 3 different speeds: 30, 40 and 60 miles an hour. So yeah, 3 reasonable kinds of speeds that you'd expect a car like this to be doing in normal life. So let's see what happens at 30 miles an hour. Not the fastest of crash tests ever, but I think it will be interesting to see just what it can do at a regular kind of speed, because being an American domestic car, American speed limits are hardly the highest. I know this is far from the lowest that they do, but it's certainly a bit more ordinary. So yeah, that survived that well. The front took all of the damage. Minimal amount of intrusion into the cabin there. Although it is a little bit concerning that the door is starting to come away, even though that was only 30 miles an hour. Doesn't give me the greatest of hope for going up to 60, but yeah, still, you'd survive that if you were in the car at that speed. So yeah, let's see what happens at 40 miles an hour. See if there's any noticeable difference. If there isn't, then it just shows that this car's pretty good. Oh, not good. Not good at all. The wheel has come far further back. I don't even think it really moved at 30. But it is, yeah. Not just that, but the roof has gone up, the door has come out, and yeah, that is far more intrusion than you'd really rather like at 40 miles an hour, to be honest. So yeah, just a 10 mile an hour difference has pretty much wrecked that car in terms of, you know, safety and usability. So what's going to happen at 60? Well, let's see. Just bump it up to 60 miles an hour. Oh dear. Yeah, that's not good. That is not good at all. Yeah, that is horrific. The engine has been destroyed. We've lost one of the front wheels completely. And the interior is, yeah, not, don't know why I'm doing that. I can go walk about now. But yeah, that's completely ruined the car. Jump over, jump over. You can jump now. Although it's not letting me. There we go. So yeah, that has smashed the car in. I think if you're on the right hand side of the car, you'd have been fine. But driver wise, yeah, as you can see, the door has completely come off, and the steering wheel has moved right towards the driver. The dashboard as well has moved right towards the driver. And imagine if pedals were properly simulated on this game, they would have moved forward as well. So yeah, not really impressed with how that's handled all of that, to be honest. That is really rather quite weak. And yeah, I wouldn't have particularly wanted to have been in that at 60 miles an hour. 30 and 40 were okay, but 60, yeah, that's pretty much not just a write-off for the car, but most likely the driver as well. Right, so we're going to go to the highway now and crash into a couple of cars that are similar to this in terms of size and weight, and then crash into a car that really isn't. So yeah, I'll see you when we get there. Right, so we're at the highway now, and yeah, we're going to be crashing into a similar size and age vehicle, and the first of which is the ETK I-Series. Around the same time this was made, and yeah, it's a little bit lighter, but it's still about the same size as the Wendover. So yeah, let's put the AI to chase me, and let's see what happens. Can't really regulate the speed with these kind of crash tests, so it would be whatever it is for us and the ETK. So about 80 miles an hour here. Who's going to come off better? Pretty much head on. I think it was the ETK, to be honest, because yeah, their door didn't open. Ours practically has, or yeah, it definitely has, and yeah, their roof has done marginally the same, but yeah, I think they've probably got away with that a bit more than we have. I'd definitely say they've gotten away with it a bit more than we have. Just run around. Yeah. Far more damage I see, as far as I'm concerned, to us than the ETK. Just the fact the door's opened is, you know, a real safety hazard, because that means limbs and people can fall out. Whereas with the ETK, yeah, that has gotten off a lot better. So yeah, the Wendover is really not doing all that well on these tests so far, to be honest, which is a bit of a shame, because I do actually like driving the car a fair old bit. So yeah, let's see if another similar sized vehicle can handle this car. I would like to go for the Legrand, but for some reason the textures are really rather messed up on that at the moment. But I guess I can go for a 2-door version rather than the 4-door. See if this works. So again, it's about the same weight as the ETK, and is built at around the same time. And it is a 2-door again, like the Wendover, so that is obviously really rather good. I don't know why it's crashed. What's going on? Hello. Do apologise. It seems to have bugged out on me for a second. There we go. Right. So let's see what two American domestics can do against each other, rather than an American domestic versus a Japanese saloon. Imagine it's going to be rather similar. Again, about 80 miles an hour. Oh. What is it with this Wendover? It's worse than cars that are lighter than it. Very, very strange. I guess maybe the extra weight is making the forces worse for it. But yeah, that is definitely... well, it looks better than it did with the ETK, maybe because it's gone head on, but I'd say the Legrand has gotten off better than that. I mean, there's no interior seats for some reason. It's probably down to the fact that the game has been recently updated. That means mods can go a bit skew-iffy. But yeah, I'd say the Legrand has gotten off better. Its roof is in better shape. The doors are in better shape. And yeah, the front of the car seems to have taken a bit more of the impact than the Wendover, which seems to have put the forces back into the car rather than taking the damage itself. So yeah, that is a bit disappointing. So let's see what happens when it goes up a car that is not only not compatible to it, like those previous two, but is also taller and heavier, and is the Gavril Roma. And we're going to go for the Canyonero version. If you've never heard, know what the reference is to "Can you name the truck with four-wheel drive, smells like a steak and seats 35?" Then yeah, I can't help you in that regard. But let's see how the Wendover reacts to this. AI, chase me. I imagine this is going to be quite devastating, given it's not been able to come out the best against the Legrand and ETK, quite frankly. This is going to be death. Yeah, the bonnet is practically under the front of the Canyonero there. Ow. 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 That's pretty devastating. The Canyonero there has gotten off practically without anything damaged in terms of that, to be honest. Yes, there's some of the bodywork, yes, it's lost one of its drive shafts, but the actual interior has not been damaged really at all, and yeah, the car would still be drivable, whereas this is not drivable whatsoever, and yeah, I'd be doubtful about survival, if I'm honest. So yeah, the Wendover there, a great fun car to crash and drive and everything like that, but if you're looking for something that is yeah, particularly quick, because this can only do 0 to 60 in 8.9 seconds and 0 to 125.1, whereas it only has a top speed of 129, then yeah, you need to really look further afield, because yeah, 168 horsepower and 203 pound-feet of torque from a 3.8 litre V6 with a car that weighs 3,571 pounds that isn't safe, isn't a particularly you know, nice prospect, to be honest. So yeah, there are faster versions out there, like I said, there are V8s and there are supercharged versions and racing versions and the like, but as far as a mid-spec car goes, it's not all that quick and not all that safe, whereas if you were in a quicker car, you'd be in a quick car that isn't all that safe either. So yeah, I don't really see any benefit to either, to be honest. But yeah, there we go. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this mod yourself if you've tried it out already. If you haven't, I highly recommend doing so. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.